Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dietary Lifestyle Transformation. Thanks for joining us. This is week one. We're going to dive in. Let me know any questions as we go in the chat box, and I'll get to those once we finish up. All right, so dietary lifestyle transformation, our goals. Let me mute everyone real quick. Here we go. Our goals are to optimize the diet. We're going to dive into intermittent fasting. We're going to move our body, improve our overall well-being, and then create lasting lifestyle changes. A little bit about me. I've been with Baptist now for 6 or 7 years. I think 7, coming up on 7. I've been with Best Health since we started with Baptist. So recently, in the past few years, I've been working on a fasting research program, and we're trying to see if we can reduce A1C through fasting. And so far, so good. We're in year 3 of the research, and so far, so good. We decided to go ahead and launch it to our Baptist population because we do think it can be really helpful in other areas of your life. So I'll talk about those as we go, but more program goals. We just want to improve the quality of your life. Also increase longevity. I think that's the ultimate goal for most people. Yes, we want to feel better, look better, lose weight, but ultimately we just want to be able to live longer, happier lives, and create a healthy mindset to be able to do that and have something sustainable that really works for us. So there are a million different ways that you could be healthier. There's a million different programs and approaches. This is just one of them. So you may love it. I personally do. I've been doing it for the last few years. It may not be for you. And we do have other programs. So keep that in mind. If the fasting is not for you, we do have other ways. This is just one. Okay, but why dietary lifestyle transformation? I'm sorry, I misspelled that transformation word. We want to promote our fat loss. We want to reduce inflammation in the body, which helps reduce the risk of disease, and it activates our body's defenses against aging. It activates autophagy to maintain healthy cell function, and it also improves mindfulness in all aspects of our life. It's kind of like, I don't know if we have any yogis in the class, but it's kind of like yoga. Yoga really permeates throughout your whole life. It teaches you to be uncomfortable in certain situations, but also be calm when you're uncomfortable. And I've learned so much through yoga by like dealing with my 3 and my 1-year-old little girls, just being calm in the chaos. But fasting can teach us things well beyond what we're actually doing. It can teach us things in other areas of our life too. So what is autophagy? You may or may not have heard of this word. What is it? It's a process that helps our cells basically take out the garbage. It's going to remove damaged cells in order to generate newer, healthier cells. And fasting is one of the best ways to stimulate autophagy. What are the benefits of autophagy? It's going to enhance our immune function. It's going to help clear infections, pathogens, viruses, bacteria. It's going to remove toxic proteins from our cells. It's going to improve our cognitive function, increase energy to the mitochondria, and protect our nervous system. All right, so with fasting, when you eat, it's all about our insulin levels. So we have this example of a 12-hour eating window. And when we eat, fat storage is going to turn on, insulin is going up, and you can see that in the red. You have the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner. So when you're eating 3 meals a day in a 12-hour window, you're keeping your insulin up for most of the day, as well as fat storage. And you can see fat burning is going to turn on at night, basically when we're sleeping. So with fasting, we're just going to try extending the fat burning stage. And then what we eat is really important as well, of course. The effects of nutrients on blood glucose over time is what this graph is showing us. So you can see carbs are the dark blue. Oh, protein is the purple, and fat is the aqua blue. Over 12 hours time, carbs are going to raise glucose the most. Protein's still going to raise glucose, but not as much as carbs. And then fat is going to raise our glucose the least, which is really important. We're going to start incorporating more healthy fats, moderate protein, try to keep carbs low. So we have a whole food plate that we can use for reference and just kind of give us an idea of what our meal should look like. Mostly non-starchy veggies. And I'm going to send you this PowerPoint so you have this list. Protein is great. Fats, we want healthy fats from avocado, from oils, from olives, nuts, seeds. And then we want to also sparingly use full fat dairy, fruit, and starchy vegetables. And then we want to rarely use sugar, sweeteners, processed meats, refined grains, really all processed foods. We're going to try to incorporate more of our whole foods and less of our processed foods. All right, there are plenty of other important aspects of our health, and I want you to know that we're going to touch on all of these. I want you to be healthy all around. Movement is important, sleep, being able to eat intentionally, being able to eat anywhere, managing our habits, targeting any type of barriers we have coming, and then ultimately becoming our own self-coach. So with dietary lifestyle transformation, here's what you got to do. Attend the class, earn incentives. If you attend 10 of the classes, you can earn any outstanding biometric screening incentives except for the wellness visit. So $100 for BMI, 50 for glucose, 50 for blood pressure. If you attend 10 classes, you will get those if you haven't already. And then I want you to build your own plan. So we're all on different routes. We're all going to take a different way around this. I want you to build a plan that works for you. And then tracking progress is so important. We have a tracker that is located in the syllabus that I sent you, and there is a tracker, the same tracker link is also in the calendar invite. So you can find it in both places. You always have it. Just click it, fill it out. I'd love to have it before the next class. I want you to get like a week under your belt of focusing on whole foods. And then you're going to have to adjust. Things are going to be very different at first. And I want you to know it's okay to always adjust and be flexible. And then check in with me if you need to. If you want to email me or call me or set up a one-on-one, I'm happy to do that. All right, so our next steps, determine if this is right for you. Did you even know that you signed up for a fasting class? Are you interested? Are you prepared to move over to more whole foods and push out the processed foods? If so, our goal this week is to transition to whole foods. So what does that look like for you? Where can you toss the packaged foods and incorporate something whole? Whole meaning it's in its original form. That would be like pretty much any fruit or vegetable, meats, yeah, healthy fats. And then submit your weekly tracker prior to the next class. And then my final tip and takeaway, I'll give you one each week, but it is the Diet Doctor. This is a great place to look for recipes. So I'll share this with you. Let me make sure you can see my screen. 1 second. All right, I'm going to share that particular screen. Here we go. All right, so I'll give this to you. I'll put it in the chat box right now so you can have it. It's a great place. People are always asking me for recipes, so this is a great place to start. It's a 14-day meal plan. People always ask me for a meal plan, so here it is. A great way to get started with more whole foods, more fruits, more vegetables, protein, healthy fats. And you can just you don't have to follow this to a T, but if you just want ideas on what would this look like for me, and what are some meal ideas, y'all can go through this meal plan and check it out. And you may just want to stick with things that look very familiar to you, like eggs and salmon or fajitas, sheet pan fajitas, that looks good, or Caesar salad. Or you may want to get spicy and try try something different. So there's a lot of different options on here to keep it low carb and keep it whole food, which is the goal. All right. Any questions for me? I'm going to email out the Elizabeth. All right, asked about fruits. So yes, we want to use fruits sparingly, and that means like if you're going to make something in a meal, like let's say you're going to make a salad and you're going to add blueberries to your salmon salad. We want to just like garnish the meal with blueberries instead of eating like a full cup of blueberries. So fruits are higher in natural sugars, so they are going to raise our insulin as well, but we can eat them sparingly. And I know sparingly is kind of a generic term, but if you want to grab a handful of blueberries and throw it on top of your salad, or if you want to grab a handful of blueberries and add it to your eggs and avocado for breakfast, or half a banana and add some peanut butter to it, you can do things like that. My biggest recommendation with fruit is try not to eat it alone, like by itself. Pairing it with a fat like banana and peanut butter, pairing blueberries with like a full fat yogurt would be totally fine, so that that natural sugar in your fruit will slow down the insulin response and therefore slow down the amount of fat storage that is turning on in the body. So ultimately, we're trying to keep insulin low so that we're keeping our fat storage low as well, and that we're able to get back to burning fat as quickly as possible, even after we eat, even between meals. So our goal this week is not to go into fasting. It's really just to focus on whole foods. And if that's the first place we start, and I know that's a big change going over to whole foods. If you start there and you don't ever make it to fasting, that's going to be a huge success regardless. So again, I want you to pick the plan and the route that's going to work for you. I want you to accomplish incorporating more whole foods before you even go into fasting, because that's going to make a really big difference. Does coffee break a fast? No, as long as you're drinking it black. And we're going to get into that. So the next, let me pull up our syllabus for you. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm going to share our syllabus so we can see from week to week how we're going to approach it. So this week is whole foods, really just focusing on getting out the processed foods, incorporating more whole foods. I'll send you the PDF of the presentation so you have that whole food plate with the list of foods. And then next week we'll go into mindful meals, really just being more cognizant of sticking to 3 meals a day and dropping our snacks is going to be week 2. So this week is whole foods. Next week is 3 meals a day, no snacking. The next week is making sure we're getting enough healthy fats into our meals so that we're staying full and that we don't need snacks. And then we'll talk about cutting sugar out, and how to fast. So all these steps, like whole foods, getting to 3 meals a day, adding more healthy fats, and cutting sugar are all going to lead you up to being able to fast. Because once you have your eating right, it's going to be so much easier to fast once you get there. You'll be so much more prepared. If we can learn, take a couple weeks to kind of incorporate these other fundamentals that will really establish us in being able to fast easier. Sandwich meat isn't considered whole food, is it? No. So when you think of a whole food and you look at the ingredient list, it should be very minimal. Let me pull up the whole food plate. So, yeah, processed meats are certainly not going to be considered whole food. Um, but things like rotisserie chicken would be, fish would be, eggs. Um, you can do things like that. Let me see if I can pull up our whole food plate. Here we go. All right, so protein. Meat, poultry, seafood, eggs, tempeh, tofu. But when it comes to our meat, yeah, anything that's in the processed category, that's rare that we would like to have those. So if you have a hot dog at a cookout, like randomly, that's totally fine. We just don't want to be having hot dogs every day. And if you want to take rotisserie chicken and put it over some salad, like you can do chicken salad, rotisserie chicken, or you could do tuna salad, things like that are easy swaps. So think of what am I eating like on a daily basis that is incorporating a processed food, and how could I replace that with something more whole food? Um, Okay, and then back to coffee. So if you are already fasting, you can have water, coffee, tea, ideally black, but we're going to go into other fats that we can add to our coffee in the coming weeks. I don't want to overwhelm you with information yet, though. I want to just focus on the whole foods for this first week. Any other questions about the whole food plate and like what is a whole food? And you can always email me after class or as the week goes, as you're starting to incorporate these things. And you're like, is this? So, like, when you turn over a package and look at the ingredients, it should be like just a couple of ingredients. So, some things are in a package, some things are totally fine. The more ingredients you see, the more processed that food is. So, like, when you get yogurt, for example, it should just be like full fat yogurt. And ideally, we want full fat yogurt over low fat yogurt. The more fat, the lower the insulin response. So, full fat is actually really good for us and our insulin, as long as there's no sugar in it. So, that's the tricky thing with yogurt, making sure you get just plain full fat yogurt, and then you can add stuff to it. You can add peanut butter to it for extra fat. You can add flaxseed, you could add chia seeds, you can add a handful of berries, things like that. All right, what other questions? All right, I'm going to email you all the presentation so you have it. And then next week we'll dive into mindful meals. We'll talk about trying to cut the snacks so that we're sticking to 3 meals a day. For the vegetables, can it have things on it like cooked Brussels sprouts or kimchi? Yes, you can cook veggies in like olive oil and seasonings, of course. What yogurt is the best? Any like full fat, just plain yogurt is really the best. And there's 1 million different yogurts at the grocery store, but just look for plain full fat. And when you turn the label over, make sure it says 0 grams of added sugar. Lactose-free yogurt, like an almond milk yogurt is great, and there's an unsweetened almond milk yogurt by Silk that's really great. Just make sure it says unsweetened on it. You can do Greek yogurt. It doesn't have to be Greek yogurt. Yes, we're not going to go for the low fat option. We're going to go for full fat. You can do any brand. It doesn't matter. Like I'll do the Simple Truth brand. I'll do the Silk almond milk yogurt. I'll do, what's the other ones? As long as it's a full fat plain yogurt, it really doesn't matter. Our farmer's market has a bunch of different ones I'll try. They're all pretty similar. Some have different textures, so just try them and see what you like. So one of like my very simple things with yogurt, because full fat plain yogurt is very different if you're going from yogurt with sweetener, is adding peanut butter on top and adding cinnamon and then like a handful of berries, and it's amazing. And that might just be like a side to your eggs or something, but it's one of my favorite things. Like I just keep it on hand. So what like a meal, like a day's meal would look like with some whole foods could be like the yogurt I just mentioned with peanut butter, cinnamon, berries, and some eggs. You could do a salad for lunch, add protein to it, add fats. And then something for dinner, you could do any type of protein and then veggies on the side. So that would be like 3 really great meals you could have, and that would be a whole food day. So starting there, I just want you to see this next week. What are you eating that's in a package? What could you replace it with? Like, for example, if you're eating a bar for breakfast, could you go over to some hard-boiled eggs instead? So trying to take those packaged processed foods are so easy and convenient, but they're definitely not the best thing for us. So if all we do is just transition to more whole foods, it's going to be a win. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next Wednesday at noon. I'll send this presentation out to you here shortly, and reach out to me if you have any questions or need anything at all. Thanks for joining. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.